guys, DMO73 here, bringing you the feature match for this week. On the left, there's me playing an Alice Sage deck that was humbly called the Stamp.deck by Matt Cosmore, just because it uses a lot of Stamps cards from Millennia of Ages. And Nick is playing a red-white Grimmia build that he called Bloody Grimmia. So yeah, let's go ahead and see how this goes. So, very interesting thing about the Bloody Grimmia deck is that it makes use of a lot of cards that allow it to burn itself, so it really kind of has a natural countdown clock in it. And then with the Sages, it's just kind of this progression of the kind of spot removal Sages to a point where your opponent just can't play creatures. So very interesting. One thing to note is that you're going to see some backwards cards on my side. Backwards cards in the main deck are going to be Thunders. Backwards cards in the Stone deck are red-white Stones. We had to kind of share some cards just because of some availability. So I get a red-white off the top, and I go ahead and pass. He gets a red stone, tries to play that Hunter. I start to think about taking the damage, but then I decide that I'm gonna Thunder it before the attack goes through. So now I have that black-white. There are two whites, and then black and a red source. See that Moonshade come out on Nick's side. Again, that's what I'm talking about in terms of natural progression. He's able to kind of spend those stones without really hesitation because it naturally puts him down lower. During the upkeep, I use a Dream of Juliet to try and draw a card, to try and draw into, my other Sages and stuff that I need to kind of get things started. Play Spiral of Despair to force Nick to go lower on his card size. Both of us were very comfortable with these decks, so we were playing pretty fast here. Nick's been working on this deck for quite some time. Yeah, so there's one of the things I'm talking about. He just was able to move 400 life points, getting him closer to using Grimmia to put out Lancelot and deal 900 damage to me really quick. I go ahead and throw out another Spiral just to force him to be down to only one card. And then I Flames of Outer World his Lancelot to get that major threat off the board. So now he's just got the two cards, and so I'm not terribly worried anymore, I guess you should say, because he only has the one creature. So I'm able to, with a full hand, I know that I'll be able to remove his creature off board next turn, and I'm going to be able to get some work done. So I want to reestablish before I take his life down too far. And he plays that Amino Habakiri to burn me, to get me down to 1900. Now, one thing that I could have done here, which I think would have actually been the most ideal play, is I should have just J activated for all three colors, for discard a card for light, black, and red, because then I could have forced him to discard his last card, gain 1,000 life, and I could have gotten that Hunter in the Black Forest off the board, forcing him to be in top deck mode essentially. But I still have answers in my hand for his cards, so place another Lancelot, take 600, and then this is the reason why I said I should have done that, because if I had, then that Split Heaven of Earth would have been gone, and I still would have been in fine shape. But Nick does take that game because the Split Heaven got me too low. So let's go to game 2. so I'm going to be going first. Now that I know that there are split heavens and earths that I'm going to have to be dealing with, I'm going to try to play this a little differently. A heat ray off the top, so I pass turn. So Nick has to play that Moonshade to play that Hunter, but I do have the Thunder for it. I'm essentially working to just stop his plays. So you see me get kind of upset there because I had that double my list in my hand, and I got the black source again. But it is what it is. So yeah, Lancelot come out. Lancelot attempts to swing in, but I have a Flames of Outer World for that as well. So I just have lots of spot removal. Here's my second red source. So I'm able to play one of those my lists, get a counter on it. See that Grimm come out, and a Thunder against my list, but I used the token, the counter on my list to burn him for 300 before it dies. Tap for another stone. Play that my list. Get a counter on it, and I pass. Could have used that Spiral of Despair in my hand to try and disrupt his plays, but he had so many cards in his hand that, he had so many cards in his hand that I didn't really think that I was gonna hit what I wanted with it, because I need to try to hit those split heavens and earths. So I was gonna try to wait until I could do a bigger swing of discarding. So he plays Pandora with the Awakening cost by paying 200. Paying 400 to be able to get that extra Grimm out from his deck and put it onto the field. Now all of his light resonators gain plus 400 attack, and the Grimms each get plus 200 attack. So that Grimm is now at 7/7. During the upkeep, I use a Thunder on that Grimm, and I use a my list token to kill one Grimm. Calling for another stone. Again, so many cards in his hand that I'm not really necessarily trying to be worried. I play a Grubalesta, which gives me more counters. To explain what Grub does real fast to Nick, and then I'm just gonna straight away burn those counters to kill that second Grimm. I don't want those stat pumps on the field. So now Nick is staring down an 8/8 and a 6/3. Neither one have counters, and I have a red source up. So that Pandora is not going to be able to swing, simply because of the fact that Grubalesta is too high of an attack. See, Nick does have that split heaven and earth in his hand, it looks like. Plays 2 to play a Ragnarok. Plays 2 life to put a Ragnarok under that Pandora. So suddenly I'm like, wow, that came out of nowhere. He doesn't have the split heaven and earth in his hand. Maybe he does, I can't tell. It's shuffling too fast. So he swings in, and because of where I'm at life-wise, I decided to go ahead and just take the 800. I go ahead and pay 4 to put a Book of Genesis out onto the field, and then J-activate for 1 red to put Alice onto the field to burn. This is me explaining Book of Genesis to Nick, but to burn 1,000 damage onto that Pandora. So the thing about Book of Genesis is, starting next turn, I'm going to get a free creature every turn, and its level's slowly going to go up. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So every single turn past turn 1, I'm going to be able to grab a Sage, which is going to just refill counters on all my other Sages. So it's a really easy way to, without spending any more will, to just pull out Sages that I need and refill all those counters so that I can get all their effects. Nick is checking my stones, which now means that I know he's gonna split heaven and earth. One of the tricks that he would use in this, which I know he's gonna try to use, is he would play Lumia, activate split heaven and earth, burn, everybody for some damage, and then use Lumia to recover the damage. So like burn it, J-activate for less, play Lumia, banish Lumia, regain all of that damage, which is a really clever technique. So there's the split heaven, like I said. So he's gonna take 12 and I'm gonna take 15. So I miscalculated there on the calculator. I type it down to 5 and then or 10, and then I do another 5 for some reason. I'm at 10, 5 stones, 300 per, that's 15. So I'm actually at $1,000. So he gets that, there's that free flip. And I think he's gonna play the Lumia, but what he actually does is he does this. He pays 200 for a little prince, and then gains, and then pays 2 more to give Grimmia target attack and swiftness. So it's now 15 to 10. So he swings at me, gets out that Ragnarok, and I think that I'm going to block with Milas, but I decided to actually block with Alice, because Alice has done her job, and this way he won't gain any life from the attack. I need to keep him in that low range, especially since I have 1400 damage in terms of attack strength on board with Milas and Grub. So I'm well within the ability to kill this turn. Especially since Nick is tapped out. So I get that stamped Kaguya out for my main deck with the Book of Genesis. Call a stone. Doing some math. Pay 2 red. Put out a my list. Get lots of counters. Use Grubelus's counter to kill Little Prince. Swing in for 6. Swing in for 8. And then, like I said, burn Nick with the counters. I even had a Dreams of Juliet just in case to like refill my list and burn him even more. So that game is gonna go my way. So we're gonna go to game 3. I'm gonna just mill that whole hand. Nick mulled 4, so neither of us had very good opening hands there. That stone, it's that hunter that I can't stop. I get a red source. I get a red-white source, so I play my Kaguya. So I'm expecting him to play the Lancelot. That's like the natural progression, so that way I know my Kaguya is going to stay on board. But he hasn't said, he actually just thunders it, which was unexpected. And then just for too late, just plays a Pandora without any awakening. So very interesting play. I think it was a good one. It puts more creatures on board for him while at the same time removing my board presence. So Nick is playing this game already uniquely well. And I have to just pass turn again. I just had nothing but like counter spells and 3 drops. Or like spot removal and 3 drops. Take 300 from that. Take 300 from that. So I'm pretty much just waiting for. Oh, and I thought that was gonna be Lancelot, but here comes that Pandora or that Lumia. I still decided to go ahead and kill that outright. I know I have a second one in my hand, a second Flame of Outer World in my hand, so I'm not terribly too worried. Go ahead and flash it at 0, the flashing Mage Warrior. She's kind of my defensive wall, and I let Nick go. So he's going to swing in, so I need to pick my blocks really well here. I'm going to take the damage from that. Take the damage from the Pandora swing as well. Out comes the Lancelot. He doesn't even swing with it. I thought he was going to, but he decides to just pass turn to me, which was a very unique play. So now I'm at a point where I have to be very careful because he's got stones up. I'm low on life, and he has Split Heaven. So what I do is I deactivate for 3. I deactivate for black, red, and white, which gives me 1,000 life, burn something for 1,000 damage, and he has to discard a card. So see, he has that Split Heaven of Earth in hand. I'm gonna kill his Pandora, because I'm not terribly too worried about his Hunter at this point, because I know that his Pandora can get bigger if he plays a Grimm, so I want to get that off the field. This is a very close game of like just balancing what damage I'm willing to take and what damage I'm not willing to take. Calculating all that out in order to be able to push past. And the problem is, typically I would just, I would also be throwing aggression on top of it, but because it's Pandora, unless I can get to the point where I can kill, I'm at a risk. I'm always in a risk. So this is actually a very difficult matchup, I think. This Bloody Grimmia deck is very, very well built. Because if you really take too long, then he's just gonna burn you. He's gonna just do burn and flip. But if you go too fast, he's gonna just be able to burn you and flip it anyway. So very, very well built deck by Nick. He does go ahead and decide to throw out another Lancelot, which is what I was kind of expecting. That's why I had saved Alice for that point. I do decide to take a risk and flip for another stone. Play my list. Get more counters. I'm gonna burn the Hunter with the Milus counter already. I've got blockers up, I've got ways to prevent damage. I'm feeling okay. At this point, and I know that a Split Heaven and Earth can't kill me. So, and I know that I have a, if I need to, I have a Flames of Outer World in my hand. Swings him with Lancelot because he has to at that point, and I block with my 0. So he's got a Little Prince and a Split Heaven in his hand. Decides to play the Little Prince. Then during the end phase, because I know what's kind of coming, I go ahead and Flames of Outer World with his Lumia, because I don't want him to do that snap around. So he decides to call for a stone. Since now his Lumia play is messed up, he's like, he might as well J-activate. Call for another stone. Put on another my list, and this is the point where I kill myself, sadly. I'm at a really good position here. I have the ability to burn stuff, I have the ability to do some spot removal, like, I'm in good shape at this point, and I'm outside of Flames of Outer World. I'm outside of the range of, getting Split Heaven and Earth. But what I do here is I pay 2 black, which cost me 4, to play 0, to try to reload my counters. because I assumed that if he had had the Split Heaven, he would have already had it by now. He would, if I miscalculated, if he had had the split, I thought he would have used it by now to put me down to that low range to prevent me from using my stones. But Nick played that incredibly well and just said, well, no, I'm going to let you burn yourself and trick you into burning yourself so that Split Heaven becomes lethal. So I plays this Hunter Black Forest, I burn it, and then he just throws out the Split Heaven and extends Handshake because he's got it at that point. So very well played by Nick. Those are the decks, guys. Go ahead and let me know what you thought about the match in the comments down below. Deck profiles will be up this Saturday. Feel free, please go check out the Kickstarter for the Ruler School playmats and consider supporting to help fund the channel. And until next time, guys, this is DMO73 signing off.